I was fastening the hook on my dress when my phone chimed. A text from my mother. "We're not coming to your stupid wedding, best of luck." No explanation, a memo from HR to my heart. I stood in the dressing room at the lodge Theo loved, wondering if I'd misread. I hadn't. Another buzz. A group photo, all of them in Cabo. Sunglasses, smiles, drinks raised. Caption, "Finally together." I typed one reply, hands shaking. Perfect timing. Lena, my maid of honor, knocked, saw my face, and shut the door. "Okay," she said. "Do you want hugs, gasoline, or both?" That's Lena. Never platitudes, just options. Here's the backstory. My family thinks legacy is a blood type. I run operations for Harbor Link Logistics. The company my father started, they call me the organized one. When I got engaged, they called Theo, whose mom runs a diner and whose dad fixes HVAC, beneath our standard. My brother Brent, 32 and consulting, explained over Christmas that Theo must be after the family money, this from a man living over my parents' garage. I kept glancing at the front row during the ceremony, empty chairs like teeth knocked out. Theo squeezed my hand. "We don't need them," he whispered, and I knew I was marrying the right man. His side danced until the floorboards begged for mercy. Mine posted beach photos at 4:47 p.m., the minute of our first dance. That night, after cake and toasts and laughter that patched me together, I opened laptop. I removed my name from corporate filings, revoked my admin tokens, and froze every operating account. A week later, my father was pounding on my door and screaming. He arrived wearing a suit that still smelled like the resort. Brent slouched behind him with airport hair. I let them shout on the porch while I sipped coffee. When they ran out of breath, I asked, "How was the beach?" "This isn't about that," my father snapped. "You crippled the company. Vendors can't get paid. Drivers are idle. Fix it." "It's about the business," I agreed. "You built something that collapses when I stop holding it." Brent muttered, "You can't wreck our lives because you're mad." I didn't slam the door. I closed it like a file and went to work. HarborLink grew because I made it measurable. The inventory brain, the routing heuristics, the daily authorization keys, those were my fingerprints. Without the keys, orders drifted, pallets meant for Tacoma idled in Pasco. A hardware chain got lawnmowers in January. Complaints multiplied. Brent took the calls and called every buyer buddy. Within days, our biggest electronics client threatened termination. Then a text from my cousin Mara, the family exile, with a gift for spreadsheets. "Coffee, I've got receipts." We met at a diner. She slid a folder across the formica. Inflated revenue, deferred maintenance, creative depreciation. Not illegal, she said, but glossy. Also, screenshots from a group chat planning Cabo. "Mom, teach her a lesson." "Dad, if she truly loves him, one day won't matter." Brent, "Bet she cries." I read until my hands stopped shaking. Mara's last page was the sharpest. Emails about selling HarborLink to a private equity firm, Artisan Ridge, for 8 figures, with Brent guaranteed a title. My name didn't appear once. "They planned to cash out and cut you out," Mara said. "Artisan tours Friday." "Then Friday," I said. "We tell the truth." Artisan Ridge arrived Friday in dark suits and practiced smiles. I watched from my car while my father performed competence. Half the warehouse sat hollow, dust rings where forklifts had been. Brent pitched strategic timing optimization to explain late shipments. An analyst wrote it down like an anthropologist noting a myth. Mara texted, "Now." We walked in together, me in a blazer, Mara with her folder, and I introduced myself to the partner. "I designed HarborLink systems and ran the accounts. I resigned 2 weeks ago. If you buy what you toured, you're buying a story." The partner glanced at my father. He looked away. Mara laid out the glossy numbers and the Cabo screenshots. I explained the keys, the logs, the service levels, what they had been, and what they were now. The tour ended early. At noon, the partner called. "If you spin up an operation, we'll back you, or we'll acquire it." I looked at my ring, at Theo waiting with coffee. "I'm not selling yet," I said, "but I'll build." We filed papers that weekend. Aurora Freight. Lena handled onboarding. Mara took finance. Theo drafted our website at the diner between refills. By Wednesday, the electronics chain signed. The auto parts distributor asked for a pilot. Drivers I'd trained texted to ask where to report Monday. My parents came that evening, clothes unpressed, voices tremoring. "We need jobs," my mother whispered. I remembered the empty chairs, the photo, the way my father pounded my door and called me reckless. "I'm hiring," I said, "but not misery. I'm building a place where people show up." I closed the door and went back to work.